Hey, Dee, we look like Saturday.
We definitely look like Saturday. I'm in my hat and we're both in like t-shirts ready to go garden-ish. So, first of all, why are we like Saturday?
Because Friday did not work out. You texted me and said, "Hey, I've got HVAC people coming. Can we do Saturday?" I'm like, "Sure, why not?"
And then your internet went down.
Then, yeah, your HVAC people didn't show up, but my internet was terrible, and we thought, well, it was just not meant to be for Friday. So
No,
here we are on Saturday. It's
we are.
August the 1st. July is like poof, disappeared.
Where did it go? Yeah. Well, let's welcome August and let's get started.
You're on, girl.
Okay, welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Dean Ash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, and I still have two gardens in the country, and I have a cat rattling on top of something behind me.
Oh my goodness. And I'm
That's
Carol
what it
Michael
is.
from Indianapolis. Why? I'm introducing myself now. I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre, which is about 15,000 square feet.
We are Garden Angelus because we love gardening and we want you to love it too.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to spill all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode. Hello, Dee. Good
Hello,
morning.
Carol. We should also say that we restarted this because your
Yes,
internet was being wacky again, but we think we've got it now. So
exactly.
and
Exactly.
it used to be my internet that was wacky,
Uh,
remember? And now
yeah.
mine's better. Okay. All right. So update on it wasn't an armadillo.
No, the thing that was digging in the lawns turns out to be a groundhog. My neighbor sent me a picture of it. And so it's it's out there somewhere, still causing a little bit of damage. I made a lame attempt to trap it, but I didn't really wanna trap it. And for listeners that are listening, Dee is up, and she's trying to shoo the cat out of the room because the cat was bothering her. Now she's rearranging furniture and come back
Sorry.
to the podcast. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry. They
Anyway,
were making too much noise.
the groundhog is still out there, but I can't worry about it. I did pick a lot of tomatoes, bunch of peppers, a few squash, a couple of them got away from me. Oops. A few more green beans. I've kept everything watered. We got a little over an inch of rain on Monday evening, but it was like whoosh all at one time in an hour, which, a lot of that rolls off. Um, I went Wednesday and helped my youngest sister pick out a retirement gift for one of her coworkers who was retiring at the garden. We went to this one garden center.
What'd you get?
So they were thinking tree or rose, and I'm thinking, probably not a good idea to buy a plant because they really don't know what's in her garden.
Right.
So they ended up with one of those cute stepping stones that had an appropriate saying for somebody that was retiring,
Perfect.
and some really nice gardening gloves, and then a gift card.
Okay, that's nice. And then you mowed the lawn.
I mowed the lawn on Thursday, which was all lovely and nice. And this morning, I woke up and we had a little less than an inch of rain fell like between midnight and 6, 7, 8. It was kind of still rainy when I went out and checked the rain gauge at 8. So lovely soft rain in the early morning. The
Perfect.
joy of every gardener. Joy.
Yeah, joy abounds. Okay, in my case, it was hotter than Hades here all week. I mean, over 100, over 104. One day was 106. Yesterday, I went out to water my containers. I was watering my containers once in the morning and once at midday, and then the drip system was watering them at night. That's
Wow.
how hot it's been. Because not only was it hot, but we had a west wind, and the west wind will just dry out everything. So
Goodness
it it
gracious.
was bad, but then overnight there was a cold front and we're down to 80. I woke up, oh no, 75 still. I woke up this morning and it
Nice.
was 71 and we're only going to get to 92, which is normal. Okay, so I also went last Saturday before the heat wave to the farmers market and I bought tomatoes, okra, summer squash, onions, and corn. And then I also bought a bouquet for my little granddaughter. And it turns out it was from one of my clients, Heather, who
Oh,
she has a flower farm up by Stroud, and she was selling bouquets out of the cutest little truck. And it was just like the perfect Saturday morning thing, ritual. So I was going to go again this week, but we needed to record. So we're recording and I won't have any tomatoes this week, but we had tomatoes all week long. So
good deal.
that was my week, just keeping stuff alive, Starting to get zinnias, finally,
Yeah, I've got
and sunflower.
zinnias. Yeah, I've got the yellow ones out here. They're actually more of a golden yellow, but,
Yeah, they're kind of a gold yellow unless you get that other, like, lighter one,
yeah, I think the variety is actually called canary yellow.
although I would say it's more gold, right, than a
I
canary?
would say yes. It was not
Yeah.
the yellow that I was hoping for, but I'll take it.
It's what happens. Okay, let's play favorites. Can I go first? Can I?
You can, you can, you can.
Okay, super cal petunias. I sent you a picture of them blooming in a terracotta pot. Terracotta dries out really fast, right? And it's
Yes,
hotter than a regular pot.
yes.
How do those petunias look?
They looked really beautiful.
They look like that picture was from this morning.
That's pretty doggone nice.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're the same company, I think, that makes the Petcoas, and the Petcoas are a mix between an interspecific hybrid, if we're being technical, between Calibrachoas and petunias, but these are not those. These are petunias. I will say this, the Super Cal petunias are not as fuzzy as regular petunias either, which is awesome because I don't like the fuzzy. I don't like the sappiness of them. I can't say enough nice things about them. I have a purple one with an orange throat, and I have an orange one that will go great into fall, and I planted them in a pot with this, sun coleus that's orange and purple in the middle, and that thing has just been beautiful this year.
Cool.
I'm effusive. And then I have one more because I
Of
get
course you
to
do.
this.
It's summertime and the favorites just roll in.
They do. I bought a rose at Antique Rose Emporium in the spring. I bought 2. One was called Jelly Bean, and the other one was called Ray Ponton. Has the tiniest, most precious double flowers or triple flowers. I sent
Cool,
that picture to you too. It has also flowered just flush after flush after flush, and I can't say enough nice things.
cool.
Happy, happy, joy,
Well,
joy.
mine is really kind of boring. I just had these resurrection lilies that have popped up to remind me that summer is waning, not waxing. You see like 2 and you think, "Okay, the resurrection lilies," and then you go out the next day and they're all blooming.
Right.
That is my garden. I got them all along this one path. All the resurrection lilies are blooming. They're on the side of the house. So they're in various places, and I do enjoy them. They're
Yes.
expensive to buy, but if you know somebody that's got some, they've got
Mhm.
dozens and just
Yeah.
ask for them to dig and divide them in the spring. But
And
anyway,
when you do that, when you dig and divide them in the spring, because you can see where their leaves are, for one thing. These are
right,
also called surprise lilies, and they're also called naked ladies because they don't have any leaves on the stem. But the leaves come up in the spring, so that's when you can see where they are.
right,
Second
right.
thing about dividing them, you need to be patient and wait because when you divide them, they will not bloom the next year. It'll probably take another year. At least it
Yeah,
always has for
that's
me.
pretty typical. But
Yeah,
and then after that,
they
and
just take
another
off.
thing, a friend from Garden Club, she saw how many I had, but she said that she does not wait for the foliage to die back completely before cutting them back
Uh-huh.
because she said they just get too exuberant if you let
Effusive.
them go yes. So
Yeah.
she cuts them back when they're still green. She gives them a little chance to grow, and then she'll cut them back,
Okay,
and
we
they
don't have
haven't.
that problem here in Oklahoma. They're effusive, but it takes years, years and
Ah,
years. So don't do that here, but yeah, up in Indiana and further north, yeah, go ahead. All right, question of the week.
so
You've
this
got
is from a
2.
listener, and I copied it, but I do not believe that I copied her name, so hopefully whoever it is, she will recognize. Hi, Carol. I enjoy the Garden Angelus podcast each week, and you're in the garden notes too. Thank you. Thank you. Question and a bug to discuss. Have you or D had the lily leaf beetle in your gardens yet? I'm in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota and now have them. They are buggers. Tiny, they hide in the leaves, making them hard to drop into soapy water. If you go after them, they drop down and disappear. Any hints or helps? I've ordered Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, which I don't know what that is.
It's an organic,
Yes.
pesticide is what it is. I don't think it's gonna work, but, I love the fact that she's trying that first.
Well, let's drop down to the insect of the week, and I'll tell you about this other question I had after that. We'll mix
Yeah, I
things
can
up.
answer the other question, but let's do the insect of the week because let's say this up front. I don't have lily leaf beetle yet.
I don't have them. I looked at a site that shows their range, and you can kinda go from just into Minneapolis,
Mhm. Over to
St.
New
Paul
York.
area, and then go all the way through Wisconsin,
Mm.
completely covered, all the way across that top band. The whole Northeast has lily leaf beetle.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard of them was when we were in Buffalo,
Mhm.
and they were talking about 'em because in Buffalo, New York, they have the most beautiful lilies, and then the next time we went, there weren't very many lilies in the garden, and they explained it was the lily leaf beetle. So tell us what you found out.
Well, I found out that they are kind of difficult to control. They're like the adults are a bright red color, but when they drop, they go onto their back, which then they show the black side of them, and they
Hard to
do
see.
sort of yeah, you can't see them. So we're gonna link to Wisconsin Extension has a great article about them if you have lily leaf beetles. We're also gonna link to a government site that shows the range. Again, not yet in our areas. God willing and the creek don't rise, they don't come into our area.
I
Um,
hope not. We have enough stuff.
but anyway, we wish good luck to that listener because it does not seem like an easy thing to control, and you may have to figure out something else to grow besides lilies.
A lot of
Sorry to
people
say.
don't grow lilies at all now. I'm looking about how to control. Yeah, this the old hand picking and crushing, which is really hard to do.
Yeah, because 'cause they're
Um,
tiny.
they're really tiny. Yeah, they're saying consider if it becomes a chronic and severe problem, consider replacing your lilies with plants not attacked by the insect. There are conventional and organic pesticides. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Um, that's too bad. That's like that reminds me of the scale we have here, which crepe myrtle scale is very hard to control. All right, so you want to do the quote? Oh no, we need to go back to the other question.
Yeah, so my sister was picking out, two of her coworkers that were there, so they were trying to pick out a group gift, but one of the coworkers asked she says, "Her rose keeps dying in her front, and it's south facing, so it's getting plenty of sun."
Hmm.
She doesn't know what she is growing. I said, "Is it hybrid tea?" She says, "What's a hybrid tea?" So
Right.
my advice was go buy, like, a name brand rose where the pot says the name of the company on it. So, you've those are usually pretty good ones in the most and
They
then
usually have the newest genetics,
yes,
so they tend to be more
disease resistant.
disease resistant, you don't have to spray them
Right,
usually.
right.
I don't know if this one grows that far north, but I will say that there's one that grows here called Sunbelt Plum Perfect.
Uh-huh.
That rose is just dead on, just the toughest, most beautiful rose I've ever seen, and it has a purple bloom, but it's not, bright purple, it's a beautiful dusky kind of purple.
Right. Well, I'll send that to my sister to share with her coworker
Mhm.
because I said I'm not really a rosarian. Without seeing it and saying, "Oh, well,
Well, nobody could answer this question exactly but I'm gonna
no."
guess. I'm gonna guess that she's buying hybrid teas, and she might even be buying what they call, I think, Series 2 or Level 2, and those are like the ones in the bags that are disgusting. Um,
Yes, I wouldn't buy a bagged rose.
I would never buy a bagged rose at this point in my life. All my other tip is go to your local nursery, talk to the rosarian there, and say, "I'm having this problem, and I really want something that'll live." 'Cause it just could be a lack of cold tolerance.
It could be.
So,
It
that's
could
my
be
thought.
because yeah. Anyway, I will do a quote and we will go to the flower topic.
Sounds good.
In summer, the song sings itself. William Carlos Williams.
This was my suggestion, Mandevillas and Bougainvillas, because I sold the heck out of both of these in the nursery this spring, and they have very different requirements to grow. They're both, tropical, and I'll say up front, mandevillas are the easiest to grow, and if you're gonna have a mixed pot of things, you want a mandevilla, and if you're gonna have a mandevilla, I suggest you get the Sun Parasol group. That's a name brand of mandevilla, and they're fabulous, and I suspect that's what mine is, although it came out of a wholesale nursery, so it's hard to tell. I
Right.
In fact, the lady who's in charge of those reached out to me after I'd talked about my mandevilla, and, anyway, mandevillas, at least the ones we had, came in white, pink, and a beautiful red that was
Mm.
just a dark, scrumptious red, which I've grown before. This year I grew pink because I had this whole idea, and I'll take a picture of this for the newsletter. I put mizu underneath it so it would bloom pink at the bottom. I put a suncoleus that has a pink center. So I had this whole pink theme going.
Right?
And so I chose pink. That has been the toughest, best plant ever. And the thing is these are tropical. And tropicals, if you're going to bring them, if you're going to try to overwinter them, you're going to have to bring them into a greenhouse situation because
Yes.
they need light and they also need heat. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Well, Condo sister, she bought a Mandevilla from Quartz, and then because we stopped here and I repotted it for her into a little bit bigger pot. And as far as I know, it's just been carefree and just keeps blooming.
Completely
I haven't
carefree,
looked at it lately.
other than water. It needs some
Yeah, just
water
needs some
and a
water.
little fertilizer. And I don't care what kind of fertilizer you use, whatever
I don't
works
think my
for you.
sister's giving it a little bit of fertilizer.
But you put it in new soil, so the soil probably was already,
I put it in the soil that doesn't have any additives in it.
so it's just blooming on its own accord and just needs water.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, well, mine's stuffed in with a bunch of plants, so it got some fertilizer. Now, bougainvillas are a different kind of thing. They don't want to be in a mixed container. They don't even really like containers. So if you're going to grow them in a container like around your pool, they like hot, hot weather, and they like to be by themselves, and they like to be rather dry. And they also have a bloom cycle, I found out, where they'll bloom heavily and then they're done for a little while and then bloom heavily again. Mandevillas just bloom the whole time. So my vote is, well, okay, if you're going to get a bougainvillea, you can put it in your garden and it'll do well, but it's going to die in Oklahoma or Indiana because
Oh,
it's
sure.
right. Personally, I don't want a bougainvillea. I sold them. Told people how to take care of them, and I thought this is too much trouble for D Nash. So I have a
Yes.
mandevilla. It has big, beautiful blooms, and it attracts hummingbirds. So easy to grow, easy to grow, easy to grow. Oh, and we had these ones that were for a client and they were
Uh-huh.
red and they went up trellises and they were at the back of the greenhouse because I think her stuff was the last thing they planted and they wanted to make sure that they stayed nice and warm because it's kind of a cool spring. Anyway,
Well,
people wanted to buy those over and over and over again.
yeah. The other thing I would say about the Mandevillas and bougainvilleas, though I don't see those for sale very often around here. The greenhouse will not have them, like, on May they might have them on May 1st,
Later. They have them later. Yeah.
but they're tropical, and so, usually they come in right at that time where are we frost free? Are we not frost free? And so, she gets them, but then she often has to shove them all inside somewhere at night
Yeah.
because it's just they are not frost hardy at all. They don't
No,
like frost.
they like heat.
Yes. And so that's don't get it too early,
No.
or you'll be the one hauling it in and out.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that. It's too
Nobody wants
hard.
to do that. What
Okay,
else you wanna
so
say about them?
I'm done. I just wanted to profile them because I can't say enough nice things about. Oh, and mine's a standard. Mine's a twisted trunk standard, and so we have a rod down the center of it so that it stays upright because it blows in the wind
Yes.
here. But
Most
it's
of them
done
are
really, really well, and I just
yeah.
periodically when it gets a little too heavy at the top, I kinda cut it back and reshape it, and it keeps on blooming. So
Most of them
very
are attached to standards or some sort of stake to grow
unless you
upwards.
buy a little one. They have little ones here that you can buy, and
Yeah.
they just because it's a vine. I guess that's the other
Right.
thing we should say. It's a vine.
Yeah. So, overwintering them in a greenhouse, you have done that in the past?
Yeah, I have done that in the past.
Now,
You
are you
just
getting a greenhouse this fall?
I'm hoping so. I thought I could do without one, but man, it depends on if the house closes because 'cause we're
Yeah.
having a teeny issue with the house closing. So, if the house closes and I get some money, you betcha, and I don't know what kind I'm gonna buy. Probably something.
Alright.
Isn't that
Alright.
exciting?
It
Alright,
is.
so do you want me to do the next quote?
Yes.
Up at dawn, the dewy freshness of the hour, the morning rapture of the birds, the daily miracle of sunrise set her heart in tune and gave her nature's most healing balm. And that's Louisa May Alcott.
Lovely.
Lovely. So, vegetables, you said do more recipes from the garden.
Yeah, because
And
we can't think of anything else to talk about as far as growing stuff. We feel like we've exhausted it. So I said, "D, couple more cookbooks perhaps on growing vegetables that you've used?"
these are 2 cookbooks that I really like. One is called My New Roots, and we'll link to these. I'll link to Amazon and maybe to Bookshop. It's by a lady named Sarah Britton, and it's just a really good seasonal cookbook. And then Debbie Clem told me about Six Seasons, A New Way with Vegetables by Joshua McFadden. So both of these are seasonal cookbooks. The difference is the one with by Joshua McFadden is 6 seasons. So he not only does spring and fall, and summer and winter, he also does like I want to say early summer and something in between summer and fall, if I remember right. And I just thought both of those were really good, and then I thought I would give a recipe of my own. Are you ready?
Yeah, but before that, I'm looking at New
New
Roots.
roots.
It
Mhm.
says, "Every month, 500,000 readers, vegetarians, vegans, paleo followers, and gluten-free gourmets alike, flock to Sarah's adaptable and accessible recipes that make
It's in our blog.
powerfully healthy ingredients simply irresistible. My New Roots is the ultimate guide to revitalizing one's health and palate, one delicious recipe at a time. No fad diets or gimmicks here. Whether readers are newcomers to natural foods or already devotees, they will discover how easy it is to eat healthfully and happily when whole foods and plants are in the center of the plate." The picture of the book looks
It's
delicious.
beautiful, and her blog is beautiful too. Um, it's obviously professionally made. I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, "Okay." And she has, in the book and also in the blog, which we'll link to, she has wonderful main dishes, and she also has some really lovely, desserts,
Uh-huh.
and she makes a gingerbread granola. The opening thing in the feature is "Marry Me Butterbeans," which would be like "Marry Me Chicken," I assume, and,
Uh-huh.
you know, I they look amazing. Everything looks amazing.
It does look amazing. Then I'm looking up the other cookbook. Not that I'm probably gonna buy these
I love
cookbooks,
her
but, you
shirt
know.
too, or dress. That's really pretty. And then she also says she has an Instagram too, and her Instagram is gorgeous also. So this is someone, who made a huge following and did really well in the recipe deal. And
Yeah, that's
McFadden's kind of the same way. I mean, his stuff is amazing too.
his book is from 2017, and it won
Golden.
a James Beard Award for Best Book in
Yeah,
Vegetable-Focused Cooking.
it's a beautiful
So,
book.
yeah,
Lots of salads, lots of I mean, his is all about unusual preparations.
okay.
So can I talk
Well,
about
good
my recipe now?
2 good choices. Yes,
Thank you.
please do because I'm waiting for the notes to refresh. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I made fried okra this week, and the people are gonna go, "Yeah, okay." Well, here's the deal. My stepmother, years ago, taught me a trick about fried okra that's really good, especially if you can't eat dairy, because most people soak their okra in either buttermilk or milk, and then they
Uh-huh.
bread it, right?
Yep.
Not her. She would take, 2 to 3 eggs, do the egg whites, and then she would whip the egg whites until they have either hard peaks or soft peaks, it doesn't matter, and for people who don't know, you just lift up your beaters, and if they're standing straight and tall and stay up, that's a hard peak. It's like what you do when you're gonna make a icing or frosting.
Right.
So, you take these egg whites, and then you take your okra, which you've sliced up, and you've seasoned the okra, so you put salt and pepper on it, and then you just gently fold it into these egg whites, and then you put it in the cornmeal, or you put the cornmeal on top of it, and the idea is that the egg holds on to the cornmeal, which it does very well, and it's also extremely light, and so I did a whole series, on Instagram stories showing how this was done, and a lot of people asked me lots of questions about it, and no, we won't be able to find it because it was a story. Um,
Right.
and but it's just a really easy way to make okra. Then I fry mine in avocado and olive oil, and I lay it in the pan. It's all on one layer, and then you flip it as it browns, and you wanna flip it really carefully because you don't wanna knock off your cornmeal. It's
Right.
so much different. That's really bad grammar. is very different from the okra that you buy frozen already breaded because it's got like tons of gross, disgusting breading on it. This is light and seasonal and fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, I come from on my one side, I swear their gardens were tomatoes and okra were the 2
Yeah,
things they cared about in their garden.
yeah.
And we had fried
Corn.
okra when we went down there. I did not grow okra this year. I did not fry okra this year, but now you make me want to do that.
I have
Way to go,
another
Dee.
recipe for okra too, but I need to go look it up to make sure. It came out of one of those cookbooks that was put out by the Junior League years ago, and
Uh-huh.
I didn't keep the cookbook, but I took that page out a long time ago because it's so good, and it involves bacon, a little tiny bit of brown sugar. Yeah, it's really good.
You
Uh,
can't go wrong putting bacon in
I
something.
mean, bacon really makes it amazing, and that one doesn't have any breading, you just cook it with the bacon, and you add a little bit of sugar at the end to sweeten it up. It's extraordinary too. So,
Ah,
okra is a vegetable. A lot of people think it should just go in stews, and actually, my Bulgarian friend, I was like, "No, you can fry it." And he was like, "Huh?" He said, "We use
mm,
it in soup." And I said,
yeah.
No, not soup, not in the summer." So, anyway, I gave him the recipe and he says he's gonna try it. We'll see if he really does.
All right, I'll do a quote and we'll talk about the bookshelf.
Cool.
"And all the windows of my heart I open to the day." John Greenleaf Whittier.
On our bookshelf this week is My Summer in a Garden by Charles Dudley Warner, which I don't have right now because it's over at my other house being a staging item. But this is one of my all-time favorite books. Carol held it up. It's old. It came out as as a classic. Is it Penguin? What publisher did
This was
this?
published by, Modern Library Gardening. I'll tell you who it is here in a minute.
So they published like 4 garden classics, and this was one of them.
It's just called The Modern Library. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever that was, and you can still find these
Division of
online.
Random House.
Random House. Okay, so he this came out in 1899, but the
That's
information
correct.
in it is still timely, and I
Mhm.
used to read it every night before I went to bed.
Right, and he just goes week by week through the garden, and a all the troubles he has, we have the troubles. He's the one that says that, um, as he calls it, purslane, he calls it puzzly, grows as if the devil is in it, which is the truth.
True. So
But
true.
I wanna read just one passage for people to get an idea.
Okay.
"Perhaps, after all, it is not what you get out of a garden, but what you put into it that is the most remunerative. What is a man? A question frequently asked and never, so far as I know, satisfactorily answered. He commonly spends his 70 years, if so many are given him, in getting ready to enjoy himself. How many hours, how many minutes does one get of that pure content which is happiness? I do not mean laziness, which is always discontent, but that serene enjoyment in which all the natural senses have easy play and the unnatural ones have a holiday. There is probably nothing that has such a tranquilizing effect and leads into such content as gardening.
I agree.
But by gardening, I do not mean the insane desire to raise vegetables, which some have, but the philosophical occupation of contact with the earth. Yes.
Yeah.
People talk about that today, don't they?
People talk about touching grass all the time.
And companionship with gently growing things and patient processes that exercise, which soothes the spirit and develops the deltoid muscles.
I mean,
He's,
it's so eloquently written,
he
right?
says, in half an hour, I can hoe myself right away from this world as we commonly see it into a large place where there are no obstacles.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
when I'm out there and everybody does this. You go out to water your pots, and the next thing you know, you're pulling weeds and
right?
you're walking, and then you look at your flowers or your vegetables or you're harvesting. Again, you're pulling weeds because we're always pulling weeds. But I just can't. I mean, it's a wonderful book, but all that entire 4 series of 4, if I remember right, they're all wonderful, and I think if you open that cover page, it tells you the other titles, which we could focus on 1 each week for the next.
Yeah, we can because I think I have all of them.
I
The other
had them all.
titles, I'll find them. They're yeah, yeah, they're good ones. And Green Thoughts. We made a garden. The Gardener's Year. We'll talk about those.
Yeah, we should do one each week because this
Now,
time of year nobody's publishing very many books.
right. Now here's the zinger, I guess. This is about gardening in the heat. The pleasure of gardening in these days when the thermometer is at 90 is one that I fear I shall not be able to make intelligible to my readers, many of whom do not appreciate the delight of soaking in the sunshine.
Mm.
I suppose that the sun, going through a man, as it will on such a day, takes out of him rheumatism, consumption, and every other disease except sudden death from sunstroke.
So he had a sense of humor too.
Yes, and he was a neighbor of Mark Twain.
Yeah, in fact, they wrote The Gilded Age together. They collaborated on it.
Anyway,
So I have to agree. I mean, yesterday was a nightmare when I went out to water, but there's something about the warmth of the sun. It really does help. Just everything.
and then the other famous quote on the back: the love of dirt is among the earliest of passions. Mud pies gratify one of our first and best instincts. So long as we are dirty, we are pure.
Huh. Interesting.
Boom. Right.
Boom. All right. You ready for the next quote?
I am.
The little darling spring has run away. The sunshine grew too hot for her to stay. She kissed her sister summer and she said, when I am gone, you must be queen instead. And that's Cicely Mary Barker. Love that quote because it's
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
All right. You found our dirt. Go for it.
The Chatsworth garden design is revealed in the drought. And this comes up periodically whenever you have really dry spells.
Hmm.
Things show up that never showed up. And when we had our drought year of 2012, things dried up and revealed mysteries that were hidden underwater in some cases. In this case, the big grand designs that they had with all the curlicues and fancy
Oh, I
bed
see it.
shapes and everything,
Yeah.
they've revealed themselves again. And so today that's all planted in lawn. And then they
Oh,
had
look
these
how pretty it was.
fancy gardens. And so the question is, should they
What do you
try to
do?
recreate those gardens? Because now they know the
Yes.
shapes of them. And
Yes,
I
they
I
should.
believe the answer is no.
I
That's
wish they
plum
would,
fancy.
because those are hedges, I assume. Um,
Those were probably some sort of hedge, and in the middle of them was probably all kinds of flowers. That looks like, as they say, a lot of work to be done at a time when they probably had, a small village of estate gardeners.
I don't think that those were flowers, though, in between. I think it was something green, and the reason I say that is it was created by well, for the first Duke of Devonshire around 1699. And so it followed the fashion at the time for formal gardens. It was covered over and replaced with a new design around 1730 by the 3rd Duke. Um, yeah, so it did have a few, flower beds, but now okay, so as the grass that was laid to replace the flower beds and paths has shorter roots, it burns more quickly when temperatures are high and dry, creating a
Right.
contrast and temporarily revealing the swirling patterns of the first Duke's original design. That is really cool. That's cool. How did you find that?
It showed up somewhere.
Oh, that's cool. I love it.
So,
I
let
love
me,
history. I also like mysterious stuff that shows up.
what, on your in
No,
online?
like in garden design or where there's a lake, like Lake Powell, that is now really small. It's, drained down. They found all kinds of things that they didn't expect to find. Some
Hmm.
creepy stuff, actually. Like
Alright.
cars that ran into it.
Yeah. Here's a quote: "Sometimes memory goes back toward a forest glade or an orchard in bloom, glimpsed only once on a happy day, but preserved in our hearts." Guy de Maupassant.
Close enough. Okay. Rabbit holes.
So
I
I have
don't have
2.
I don't have one, so you will do your
Okay,
2.
while I'm talking, you need to click on that little link I gave you.
I'm doing it right now.
So I did listen to a new to me mystery that was published last year. It's called The Botanist's Assistant by Peggy Townsend, and anyway, it takes place on a college campus, and, the botanist's assistant is trying to solve a murder because everybody says her boss, the professor, just died of natural causes, but she's
Oh,
like,
I like it.
I
Was
don't
it
think so."
good?
It was really good. I did the audiobook and so many fun plant references, and the author, Peggy Townsend, did her homework. So it's, a lot of deadly plants and stuff.
Nice.
So now I'm gonna send you down a rabbit hole with me.
Wow, that is
So
quite the rabbit hole.
there's a site called The Time Traveler by Merriam-Webster Dictionaries, and
Ah,
you can go back and find the first time. You can look by year, and they'll
yeah.
tell you in that year what were the first those are the words that were first used in print in that year. So I
Uh-huh,
went back to 1959, the year I was born,
uh-huh,
and, that was the first time they used such words in print as assembly language, which is a computer language.
uh-huh,
Um, Counter surveillance was first used in 1959 in print.
uh-huh.
Dopamine, double digit, dinner theater,
Yeah,
what other, fun words, fun words.
fun words.
Matchup,
I looked at mine, and mine is double A cell for a battery. Double A
yeah.
cell, AA.
I have micro publishing.
I have, interesting enough, cereal leaf beetle. Wonder what that was.
I don't know. I have 9 to 5er,
Bioweapon? Yikes.
open heart,
Dystopian.
plain vanilla,
Fender bender.
programming language.
Um, oh, here we go. Paramyxoravirus. I wonder what that
I
was.
don't know. I have semi-dwarf, which I'm assuming refers to a tree or a plant.
Yeah, because it'd be not quite small. Tight end, trendy.
Sock puppet.
Oh, zip code. It was the first time they used zip codes.
Oh my, I have
Oh
queen
my.
size.
Lord. Salsa. They discovered
Oh,
salsa in my ear.
well, they didn't discover it. It's the first time that word was used in print, they said.
I'm talking about Americans discovered it because
Yeah.
they used the word in English. So that's funny.
Sticker price.
Well, this is fun. We could do this all day.
Exactly. So we'll leave a link to the Time Traveler on Merriam-Webster dictionary, and you can go find your birth year, and then you can find all the words that were first used in your birth year. Circadian, that's the first use.
Circadian rhythm.
Binge eating.
Lord. That's why we needed queen size. Um, so a garden to visit. We're gonna move on. A
We're
garden to
moving
visit.
on. Well, I knew you would love that rabbit hole.
I do. I love that rabbit hole. It's not my I didn't do it, so that's great. I mean, I went down a rabbit hole, but it had nothing to do with gardening, and I'm not gonna talk about it. All right, garden to visit. Beth
Beth
Chatto's
Chatto.
garden,
Yes.
but it's specifically her gravel garden. So when we went to East Anglia in the UK, we went to Beth Chatto's garden, and Beth Chatto's gravel garden is important for a lot of reasons. She was the first person to decide to put in a garden, in the modern time period at least, that you don't have supplemental water, which right
Right
now,
plant, right place.
yeah, and right now, it's all mulched with gravel. That's why it's called the gravel garden. And it used to be part of her driveway. And then she, like all gardeners, needed some more space, and so she did this garden. And it is actually the favorite part of the garden for most people. And she's actually had a book on it, which is cool too. And the other thing about it is right now it's very timely because it's been hot as Hades in Europe this year. There have been fires, and they're suffering. They're really suffering because they don't have air conditioning much.
Right.
So, and they water their garden. I mean, they've never had to water their gardens. And I've been there several times during the drought, and their stuff suffers because they don't water it. So her stuff in the gravel garden does not suffer. So it's very timely. It's a great garden. It's
Anyway,
beautiful. She's an inspiration.
so if you're in England, go see Beth Chatto's gravel garden. Put it on your bucket list.
You should. All right, garden commissions. I'm just going to keep things watered and weed a little bit here and there. I have to say, it is such a pleasure to have a garden that is smaller. Even though I still
Yeah.
have the other garden, I'm not working over there as hard as I should be because we have a contract on the house. So hopefully they'll buy it. And they want to keep the garden. Um, in fact, did I tell you last week that they want to expand it, which is funny since I downsized it a little.
Good for them.
I think they need to work in it before they expand it, but that's, that's their deal. That's all. That's as much as I have. I'm reading and doing things, and
Cool.
it's fun.
So I need to water, weed, mow, deadhead, pick veggies as time
I do need
permits.
to dead.
I also need to clean up and assess my houseplants, and some of them need to get repotted or get some fresh potting soil in them.
Mhm.
I also went to Costco yesterday and then they had the new Lego Golden Pothos
Oh,
kit.
fun.
I
Fun.
bought that. And I still need to try out those Play-Doh flowers that I bought. It's like, I was all hot to get them, but then they're sitting on the kitchen table, and it's like it just seems like I need to get it out and look at the instructions, and so I will do that. I will
That
do that
sounds
next
fun.
week.
Mostly everybody needs to water, and yes, it's time to deadhead. Deadhead the roses, deadhead the verbena, things like that.
Sure. All right, let's wrap this baby up. Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us get noticed by others.
If you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a whole day early and links to products we discuss. Plus, go over to YouTube and see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. So if you can't wait until Wednesday, you now have 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesdays.
And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we earn a small commission. It costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout or make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.